Repeat.
consistency of a single appraiser to measure the same parts multiple times with the same measurement system. It is related to the standard deviation of the measured value.
Beautiful. So repeatability is the consistency of a single appraiser to measure the same part multiple times. Suppose if I ask Pradeep to measure a particular part, he measures 10 times. Let us say Pradeep gives 10 readings exactly same. Pradeep measured the product 10 times. It is the same product. Pradeep measured it multiple times. How many times it is? 10 times. And all the 10 readings are same. Now tell me, is that Pradeep is consistent?
Yes, consistent.
Consistent. That
Consistent and precision.
means Pradeep's readings are repeatable. Pradeep is repeatable. And all the 10 readings are same. I calculate the standard deviation. What will be the value of standard deviation when you have same numbers 10 times? Can somebody help me with the answer?
0.
0. No deviation. When all the numbers are same, it will be 0. Because what is standard deviation? The average deviation of your numbers from average. What is standard deviation? The average deviation of your numbers from the average. That is standard deviation. Since absolutely there is no deviation, standard deviation is 0. When standard deviation is 0, the measurement system is highly consistent. Am I correct?
Correct.
But when standard deviation gains the value, there will be an error. That error is called repeatability error. That is why repeatability error is related to the standard deviation of the measured value. Hope all of you understand the second line. Am I right? Repeatability is related to the standard deviation of the measured value. All of you able to understand the line? I need yes or no.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Very good, very good. So more the standard deviation, more will be the repeatability error. Less the standard deviation, less will be the repeatability error. So repeatability error is a function of the standard deviation in the readings given by single appraiser. Clear? And now let us say Pradeep gave me 100 reading. Pradeep gave me 100 reading. With all 100 reading, can I calculate average? I need some quick response because I want to cover.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So Pradeep will have average. That average is given in the dotted line. Hope all of you can see the average reading of Pradeep, right? He gave so much reading and average is this much. Now with respect to the average, I am plotting the remaining readings, all the readings of Pradeep, all 100 reading. Always, no, when you give 100 reading, half of the readings will be on the right side of average, half of the reading will be on the left side of average. This is a property of a normal distribution. This is a property of a normal distribution. More number of readings will be around the average. So you will see a peak at the center. This is another property of normal distribution. And this curve is called normally distributed curve, a bell-shaped curve. Bell-shaped curve, if I draw a line at the center, the curve will be symmetrical. Do you see the shape of the curve on the right side and left side are exactly same?
Yes, yes, sir. Same.
Very good. These are properties of normal distribution. I have advised all of you to go through the white belt modules where I talked in detail about normal distribution. If you have not gone through, please go through those videos. Just 3 hours. You can understand the basics, no? Very, very well. And now, and so any distribution, if it is normally distributed, you can define the distribution just with the two. One is average. Where is the average? This dotted line. One is average, this dotted line. Another one is the standard deviation of the data. Pradeep gave me 100 reading. With the 100 reading, you know how to calculate average. With the same 100 reading, if you know how to calculate standard deviation, that will be this value. You see here, the standard, this length. What is standard deviation? Distance of the point from the average. Every point, see, some points are close to average, some points are far away from average. So I take the average of the deviation, that is this value. This is called what? Standard deviation sigma. Do you all understand what is sigma?
Yeah.
Yes. Higher this sigma, no, this your repeatability error is a function of this sigma. If this sigma is more, repeatability error will be more. If the sigma is less, repeatability error will be less. See here, Pradeep is here indicated in red color. Here, the Pradeep readings are indicated in red color. And now black color, there is one more person. Let us say this is Prem Anand. So Prem Anand readings are indicated in black color. Tell me, who is repeatable?
Prema.
Repeatable. Pradeep is repeatable or
Prem
Prem is repeatable?
Anand is repeatable.
Premanand.
Prem Anand is repeatable. Why Pradeep is not repeatable? Because he has more repeatability error. If someone has more repeatability error, he is inconsistent. You can't trust his findings. But I can trust better or I can trust more with the readings of Prem Anand. Am I correct? Ultimately, I want to understand the fact. When I have minimum error, I will be more closer to the fact. Am I correct? Hope all of you understand. Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Now, we move on to reproducibility. And again, who is going to help me read out the reproducibility?
Reproducibility is the consistency of different appraiser in measuring the same part with the same measurement system. It is related to standard deviation of the distribution of appraiser averages.
Okay, and now it is different appraiser. Let us say I am one of the appraiser, Pradeep is another appraiser, and then our Prem Anand is another appraiser, and Nirmal is another appraiser, Surajit is another appraiser. There are so many appraisers. All of us are now involved in the data collection. Do you think the chance of going wrong is now more? Am I correct?
Yeah.
Since you involve so many people in data collection, getting everyone aligned to the procedure is not that easy. And now another form of error can start happening. Inconsistency, between or inconsistency among different appraiser. So now let us say, this is myself, Sivakumar, and this is our, who is this? Our Pradeep. And this is our Surajit, and this is Avinash. And now I collected 10 reading. Out of my 10 reading, average, am I correct?
Deadly against this privatization.
Come on. So this is my reading. Do you think my reading will have an average? Yes or no?
Yes, sir. Having.
And then Pradeep will have an average. Surajit will have an average. Everyone will have an average. Why do we have average? Because average will minimize the bias. Am I correct? Average will always minimize the bias. So average can make your readings accurate. Even after using average, still you see my average are not at the same point. Some of them are on the right side, some of them are on the left side. That still there is an inconsistency. This inconsistency is called reproducibility error. In order to visualize the reproducibility error, I will use only the average of the reading. Let's say there are 10 appraisers involved. 10 appraisers involved. So how many average I will have? 10 average I will
10
have.
average.
With the 10 average, can I calculate average of the averages? Possible?
Yes, sir.
What you are seeing here. That is what you are seeing here in the black color. This is called grand average. Now with respect to the grand average, I plot all the averages. Now half of the average will be on the right side, half of the average will be on the left side. And I will have more values closer to the grand average. That means again it will follow normal distribution. Now I want all of you to understand. This is an important theorem called the central limit theorem. Whenever you visualize the distribution of the averages, I repeat the statement. Whenever you visualize the distribution of the averages, the distribution will be always normal. All of you understand?
Yes, sir.
Whenever you visualize the distribution of the averages, the distribution will be normal only. Very rarely, if the number of samples are not sufficient, there will be a problem in normality. There is a theorem which says that when your sample size is sufficiently large, the distribution of the averages will always be normal. That is the reason why when collecting data, you always collect multiple data and use the averages. Whether you are a student collecting data from a laboratory or you are a researcher you are collecting data from an experimental setup, or you are a working professional collecting data from your workplace, you always collect data 2 to 3 times and take the average and use only the average. You know why? The theorem that these averages, when plotted, will definitely follow normal distribution. This theorem is called central limit theorem. All of you understand what is central limit theorem?
Yeah.
An important theorem. Very, very important theorem. The main reason behind averages in our analysis is this. That is the reason why we want all of you to master one single distribution, which is called normal distribution. You no need to be a master of all other things. You have variable distribution, you have gamma distribution, so many distributions. But you can manage all the problem by converting your data into, by converting the distribution into a normal distribution. But work with the averages, not with the individual reading. You need to work with the averages, with the individual reading. Right. And now, this blue color line is a distribution of the averages. This blue color line is the average of the averages, called the grand average. Now, this deviation, what is this deviation? Standard deviation of the averages. If there are 10 appraisers, I will have 10 averages. To calculate a standard deviation using 10 averages, that standard deviation is called reproducibility error. Standard deviation is called reproducibility error. See here, there are 3 appraisers. Appraiser 1, myself, black color. Appraiser 2, Surajit, red color. Appraiser 3, our Avinash, green color. Now, 3 are involved in data collecting. I collected in this manner, black color. And our Surajit collected in this manner, red color. Avinash collected data in this manner, green color. Now tell me, are we three are consistent? Do you think we 3 are reproducible? Or are there a difference?
Different, sir.
Difference is there. That difference is called reproducibility error. I am saying that this is the fact because my average is here. Surajit average is here. Of course, me and Surajit, little variation. But where is our Avinash? Far away. But all of them are working in the same company. All of them are using the same equipment. All of us are measuring the same problem. But for me, the problem lies here. For Surajit, the problem lies here. But for Avinash, problem lies here. Now, who is correct? Believe who?
All are correct.
Not all are correct. There is an inconsistency. There is an inconsistency, and inconsistency need to be measured, need to be controlled, so that all the graph will start overlapping. All the graph overlapping, then we all become consistent. See, with precision, we are checking only whether we are consistent or not. Whether we are correct or not, we come only by checking accuracy. Do you understand? If you are correct, then you must be accurate. If you want to be accurate, you must be precise. All of you are with me on this?
Yes, sir.
Precise to
Yes.
become accurate. We must be accurate to become correct. That's all. If you do this, no, your data will speak the fact. All the signals that are coming from your data will be true signals. If you allow a lot of error to dominate, some of the signals, some of the alarms may be false alarms. So don't allow the measurement error to dominate. Now I want all of you to come on video. Why? Because I'm going to do a activity. I want all of you to collect data. Sure, you all will commit error. All of you know are very experienced. I know some of you are researchers, some of you are students, and some of you are working professionals. You're all well versed. But then also what will happen?
Noise is
You
coming,
will commit error,
sir.
right? So what I do is I will give some instruction, because data collection should always have proper instruction. Proper instruction ensures accuracy, ensures precision also. That instruction is called operational definition. Is that taught to you? Operational definition? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Dr. Ravi has spoke to you about operational definition. Why we need operational definition? We want everybody to understand the task correctly. Whatever way I collect the data, same way you should collect the data. Otherwise, what will happen? We will become inconsistent. How do I hold the equipment? You should also hold the equipment in the same manner. If I keep the workpiece on the table, you should also keep the workpiece on the table. Isn't it? When I collect data in a sitting posture, you should also collect the data in sitting posture. Then only consistency will happen. So all these instruction, when you comprise, that is called operational definition. Operational definition need not be in a very high-fi English. It should be a very simple, easy to understandable language. It can be English, it can be Tamil, it can be Telugu. But everybody should understand in the same manner. To the extent possible, give visual clues, visual information. People will better understand. Ultimately, we need consistency. Now, my instruction, operational definition is, I want all of you to measure the duration of the song I am going to play. I want all of you to measure the duration of the song which I am going to play. I have 3 songs here. I will play them one by one. The moment I play the song, you will hear the song. Hear the song. I want you to watch. Already you have the stopwatch, right? Please put the stopwatch. Keep it ready with the 0 reading, 0 setting. This is called the 0 setting. The 0 setting. Once I play the song, you start the stopwatch. Automatically the song will stop after some time. Now all of you have to give me the reading. I want to understand the consistency in all your work. Are you all ready to work as a team now? Is that instructions are clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Part of the team, all
Yes,
of you
yes,
have
yes.
to try to adhere to a single procedure. Then only you are a team. So we'll try that now. So keep your stopwatch ready. I will be playing it. And okay. Shall I play it? Ready?
Yes, sir.
Just a second. Let me. All the 3 songs, the duration was kept as exactly 60 seconds. I didn't let you know that. Why? Because otherwise, otherwise you might simply write the same reading for all the 3. Right? So generally, when you are conducting the measurement system analysis, you should not let your appraiser know which part they are measuring. Because my intention is to understand how good my measurement system is. So it is one important procedure in your data collection plan. People who are measuring should not know which part they are measuring. They just have to measure and then give the reading. That's all. That's okay. So the reality is all the 3 are same. They should have given me 3 readings or same reading. I don't expect the accuracy now. Whether the readings are accurate or not, but the reading should be consistent. But that consistency is not maintained by Pradeep. the variation within the readings of Pradeep is nothing but the repeatability error of Mr. Pradeep. Do you all understand?
Yes.
The readings of Pradeep will have an average, will have a standard deviation. That standard deviation is a measure of the repeatability error committed by Pradeep. Same way, Prasad is also having a variation. Do you see 3 readings of Prasad? There is a variation. There is a standard deviation. So that is repeatability error by Prasad. So each one of you committed an error called repeatability error. Why? Because the product is same. You measured it 3 times. Only to confuse you, I played 3 different songs. But actually all 3, the duration is 60 only. So 9 people gave me 9 repeatability error. I must now sum up to understand the total repeatability error in your reading. Do you all understand? Yes. Now, how to calculate the reproducibility error? For that, each one of you participate in the data collection. Please calculate your average and tell me. Now, what is average of Pradeep? 60.25 plus 60.91. All of you, please keep your average ready. You can tell me the readings if it is ready.
Sir, mine is 60.296.
60.296. Then, Mr. Prasad.
Chandan. No, mine, Chandan.
Okay. Chandan, you can tell me.
Mine is 60.38.
60.296.
60.296. Then,
Prashant is 59.86.
Sir, mine is 60.386.
one second. Better tell your name. Moreover, you are not on.
Pradeep.
So this is Pradeep. Yeah. Pradeep, what is your reading?
60.386.
60.386. Okay. Then,
So, no, sir, on the under the name of Pradeep, you should write. You wrote under the name of Arul Shekhar.
oh, sorry, sir. 60.386. See, but already I have written now something for Pradeep, right?
That first Chandan, sir.
This is how measurement error can happen. Okay, now let me call the name. That's why you may keep me convenient. Arul Shekhar, you are ready. Arul Shekhar,
Sir, yes,
your average. You tell me your average. Then Kaviraman, you tell me your average.
60.02.
60.02.
02.
Okay. Then Mr. Nagraj, you
60.12, sir. 60.12.
okay, 60.12. And now Arul Shekhar, you are ready now.
60.42.
60.42.
42.
Okay. Then Avinash. You are muted.
Sorry. 60.80.
60.80. Then Mr. Nirmal,
59.88.
59.88. Then Mr. Surajit,
59.92.
59.92. See now, 9 people and I have got 9 averages. When I visualize the average, more likely that your average will follow normal distribution. Just by mastering one single distribution, solve any problem in your company. But all that required is make your data or to make your average follow normally distributed. You may have to increase the sample size, that's all. If normality is not obtained with the sample size of 3, go for a sample size of 5. What will happen? Your data will become normal. If data becomes normal, you know the advantage? The advantage is your process becomes predictable. If process becomes predictable, you can understand there is going to be a problem next month. So you can be proactive. All of us need to run the business in a predictable manner. Our business results should be predictable. If business results are predictable, we can hire people. We can increase the resources. We can take correct decision. If business results are unpredictable, completely uncertainty, do you think a manager is required? You can't do anything. If results are unpredictable, What can you do? You can't do anything. You will be there just physically. So one of your main responsibility is make your business results predictable. That is why you must master normal distribution. That is why you must be very careful in the data collection. That is why you must use average. You must use always while taking decisions. That is why we say this program enhance your decision-making skills. Right. Now coming to the point. There are 9 averages. 9 averages when visualized, it will follow normal distribution. In that normal distribution, I can always calculate the standard deviation. Standard deviation of the 9 readings. Standard deviation of the 9 readings is a measure of reproducibility error. Standard deviation is smaller, reproducibility error is smaller. Higher, reproducibility error will be higher. Reproducibility error and repeatability error, when you combine, that is called precision error. Right? Hope all of you understood what is repeatability and what is reproducibility. Am I correct? Yes. Correct, huh?
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah.
Very good. Right. So we move on. So precision is the principal concern. Measurement error is sum of repeatability error and reproducibility error. In fact, precision error. Precision error is a sum of repeatability error and reproducibility error. We discussed about sigma of the.
Maximize your slide, sir.
Come again?
Yeah, put it in slideshow, sir.
Oh, it is not visible.
No, it's visible. The request is to put it in slideshow.
I'm already in slideshow.
No, sir.
No, sir, it's not in slideshow.
Well, let me
Full screen mode.
How is it now?
Now, okay.
Fine.
Now fine. Right. So measurement error is actually precision error is sum of repeatability error and reproducibility error. But what do I have in my hand is sigma of the reproducibility, nothing but the sigma calculated using the average of the individual appraiser's reading. And sigma of the repeatability, the standard deviation of individual appraiser's reading. And then I combine all the standard deviation, that is sigma of the repeatability. Though I explain everything, you don't have to get confused with the terms, because softwares like Minitab and Excel can do the job effortlessly, but you must understand. That is why I'm explaining, right? So sigma repeatability is the standard deviation of the data collected by individual appraiser. So all the standard deviation of individual appraiser I will combine. That is called sigma repeatability. Sigma repeatability and sigma reproducibility now I will combine. Please note, when you are combining two standard deviation, algebraic sum will not work, because standard deviation can be positive, deviation can be positive, deviation can be negative. So you must square and then sum up. So square the repeatability sigma, square the reproducibility sigma, and then only you must sum up. Then you take the square root because you already squared it. Now the resulting value is called sigma of the error. Resulting value is called what? Sigma of the error. Once you know sigma of the error, now you multiply the sigma of the error by 6. Multiply the sigma of the error by 6. That is called total measurement error. Why there is a 6, I will tell you. And if you have gone through the whiteboard video, I have explained it very clearly. Right. But anyway, I will explain it once again. See here, what you are seeing, he's seeing here is the normal distribution, this blue color curve. What is there in the center? This line?
Average.
When I move away from the average by some distance, let us say I move by a distance equal to the standard deviation. Now I came away from the center by a distance equal to 1 sigma. I move by 1 more sigma. Now what is the distance of this point from the center?
2 sigma.
2 sigma.
2 times sigma. Now I move out to 1 more sigma. Now this point is called 3 sigma. A point which is at a distance of 3 sigma from the center is called control limit. Is called what? control limit. See, when I come up to control limit, can somebody tell me what is the portion of the curve that is available beyond the control limit? Is it a major portion or a very small portion?
Very small portion.
Very small portion. If you want to understand any population, you study the population up to 3 sigma, up to control limits, up to the control limit on the right side. 3 sigma distance or 3 sigma point on the right side is called upper control limit. Same way you can come up to 3 sigma on the left side. This is called lower control limit. This is lower control limit. This is upper control limit. And between the control limit, major portion of the population lies. Am I correct with my statement?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That major portion is quantified in normal distribution. That major portion is quantified in normal distribution. That quantity is 99.73%. How much it is? 99.73%. Let me draw a line here. This is your lower control limit. This is your upper control limit. This distance is how much? Somebody tell me.
3 sigma.
3 sigma.
Very good. 3 sigma. The sigma is nothing but sigma in the distribution. Similarly, this side also 3 sigma. Now, can somebody tell me what is sigma?
Standard
Standard
deviation.
deviation.
Standard deviation. In our study now, sigma is the error.
Yeah.
In our discussion now, sigma is the error. Am I correct? We are capturing
Yes, sir.
repeatability error. We are capturing reproducibility error. We are combining to get the precision error. Now, sigma is the error. In your population, the maximum number of sigmas that can lie in your population is 3 sigma on the right side and 3 sigma on the left side. Total error now.
6 sigma.
Very good. That is why I multiply sigma by 6 to get precision error. To get precision error. And now, I want to teach you one more property of normal distribution. That property is when you go up to control limit, you can comment about 99.73% of the population. 99.73% of the time, your output will fall within control limit. How many of you understand my statement? Your business process, 99.73% of the time, your business process will produce result, and that result will be within control limits. But where is your control limit? Your upper control limit is center. Center is average plus 3 sigma. Am I correct in the formula?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Your lower control limit is average minus 3 sigma. Any business process, if you know average and sigma, you know everything about what your process is going to produce. Clear? If you know average and sigma from a business process, what is the capability of your business process, you can find out. What is going to happen? What kind of outputs are going to come out of your business process? You can predict only by knowing the average and sigma. But the average and sigma should be accurate, should be precise, so that your prediction can be better. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Good. So upper control limit and lower control limit, 99.73% of the population will lie. Suppose when I want to restrict my study only up to 2 sigma on the right side, 2 sigma on the left side. The 2 sigma point on the right side, that means this distance is 2 sigma. Now the line is called warning limit. This line is called what? Warning limit. Similarly, 2 sigma on the left side. This is also warning limit. See, 3 sigma is called what? Control limit. 2 sigma is called what? Warning limit. So within your warning limit, you will have 95.45% of your results will lie within warning limit. This is again another prediction based on the property of normal distribution. All of you have studied normal distribution in your schooling itself. Again, you studied in the college itself. Again, you are studying here itself. but the fact is, so far you have not used it effectively in the business. Hereafter, if you use it effectively in the business, effectiveness can be taken care. Failures will not happen. You just have to focus on efficiency and then maximize your profit. You all understand the source of the effectiveness? The source of the effectiveness is based on your understanding from the data. It is the average and standard deviation that speaks about the effectiveness. Effectiveness is the high quality product, right? So take care of the average, take care of the standard deviation. Quality is taken care. And now one of you tell me, taking care of average means what? Average is X bar. What do I mean by taking care of average?
Lower control limit, upper control limit.
My average should overlap with
Target.
target. Beautiful. Please check whether average overlap with the target or not. If the average is away from target, please understand your business process is designed badly. Am I correct? Statistically, we are predicting what is happening in our business. If average is not on the target, yes, my process is shifted. So it deserves a help. It deserves some improvement, some correction. Now, if average is on target, does it mean everything is on target? No. Average comes from individual values. Individual values can be different from target, even though your average is on target. For example, 3 numbers, 99, 100, 1. What is the average?
100.
Average is 100. Let us say target also 100. So this condition is getting satisfied. Average on target. But though average is on target, everything is not on target. Still I have 99 and 101. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
If you want everything on target, your standard deviation should be as low as possible. Do you understand? If I reduce the standard deviation as low as possible, my curve, instead of looking like a red, will look like a black. Further reduce the standard deviation will look like this. Now the third curve, do you see most of your outputs are closer to the target? Yes or no?
Yeah.
With the red, average is on the target, but still I could see a lot of products getting rejected. Why? Standard deviation is more. When I come to black color, my average is on target, but few rejections are there. Why few rejection? My standard deviation is moderate. But coming to the third one, average on target, standard deviation very, very low. All my products are now accepted. All my products are getting passed in the quality. So, in order to make your products 100% acceptable, these are the 2 conditions you need to check. One is average should be on the target. Other one is very, very low standard deviation. If the standard deviation are low, that means variations are less. That is the key to improvement. Reducing variation is the key to improvement. You can see the statement in many books. Reducing variation is the key to improvement. Variation is captured in sigma. We are trying to reduce the sigma. When I reduce the sigma, when I reduce the variation, my capability to produce acceptable products increases. This is what we call it process capability. Hope all of you understood the importance and significance of average and standard deviation. Right? Right. Now, this is the precision error. Now, I want to know whether this precision error, I want to quantify. See, when I want to quantify, I will multiply this because this is only standard deviation, but the total error can be 6 times of it. You know why I am bringing 6 here. The moment I put 6, I predict
99.73%.
73% of my population. Right? So 6 times error will be the total measurement error. This total error I want to compare with respect to the tolerance. Denominator is tolerance. What is tolerance? Upper specification limit minus lower specification limit. Hope all of you know what is upper specification limit and lower specification limit, right? Can somebody tell me the mathematical formula for upper specification limit?
Maximum dimensions.
X bar plus 6 sigma.
What is upper specification limit? Come again.
X
X
bar
bar plus 6 sigma.
No, that is not correct.
target plus
Very good. Target plus
tolerance.
Very good. Beautiful. Target plus tolerance. And who will give this tolerance? Customer will give the tolerance. So customer will give the target also. Customer will give the tolerance also, because customer know there will be variation in any business process. So we should also know, we should respect it. Target plus tolerance is USL. Then what is LSL?
Minus tolerance.
Very good. Target minus tolerance is LSL. Now you know what is USL, you know what is LSL. So USL minus LSL. USL minus LSL. This is called specification width. So with respect to the specification width, how much is the error? See, when I conduct an exam, you score 40 marks. I check immediately the denominator. 40 out of 100. See, without denominator, your mark has no meaning, isn't it? The total mark is 100 and you scored 40. So your mark is 40%. When you score 40 out of 50, what is your mark? 80%. So always denominator is required. So the error I compare with respect to the customer provided tolerance. Now I get a ratio. This ratio is called precision tolerance ratio. What is this called? Precision tolerance ratio. This precision tolerance ratio is otherwise called as, particularly in an industrial language, it is called as gauge R&R. What is it called as? Gauge R&R, where R&R stands for repeatability and reproducibility. What is gauge R&R? Precision tolerance ratio. What is precision? 6 times sigma of the error. What is tolerance? USL minus LSL. This ratio should be less than 10%. If this, yes. Any question?
Previous slide, no, sir. In that you told
Yes.
precision by tolerance. Another word is gauge and R.
Precision by tolerance ratio is also called as gauge R&R.
Okay.
Precision means 6 times sigma of the error. I taught you how to calculate sigma of the error here. And tolerance means USL minus LSL. So the name precision tolerance ratio. And another special name, particularly industries call it as gauge R&R. This gauge R&R, when calculated in this manner, should be less than 10%. When it is less than 10%, you can see the road very clearly. You can drive the car depending on what you see.
Okay.
If this is more than 10%, if it is more than 30%, your windshield is full of water droplets due to the rain, and still you are driving the car fast. Accident is going to happen. You may not reach the destination. Similarly, the measurement error, if it is less than 10%, it is good to drive the car. It is good to drive further, drive the project. But if it is 10 to 30%, conditionally acceptable. Why do I say 10 to 30%? There is a raining, but I have put on the wiper. But even after putting on the wiper, still the rain is very high, and 30% of my windshield is not visible. Now I have to slow down. I have to slow down my car, but still I can move. Conditionally acceptable. But when the rain is too high, when the windshield, more than 30% of the windshield is hidden, probably I will stop the car. Similarly, measurement error when it is more than 30%, not acceptable. Clear? Do you all understand? Gauge R&R should be less than 10%. And who gives this rule? These rules are given by an organization called AIAG. The gauge R&R should be less than 10%. Then only your measurement system is credible. Your data is worthy for analysis. Otherwise, if the data collected contains more than 30% of the error, my recommendation to you is better throw the data into the dustbin. You must correct the measurement system and then recollect the data. Analyzing the data which is carrying too much of error will not help you to solve any problem. Clear? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes. See, one more thing. When to use the second condition? First condition is very clear. Second condition also very clear. More than 30, I don't use the measurement system. Less than 10, I'm having a fantastic measurement system. But 10 to 30 conditionally acceptable. I'll give you a little more idea, right? And see here, you have customer target value 100. Customer says plus or minus 0.5 is okay. 100.5 is USL. 99.5 is LSL. Right? So customer specification zone is understood. Am I right? Customer specification zone is understood. Now, this zone I am dividing. See here, this is my LSL, this is my USL, this is called specification zone. This is my target. And now, let us say the error is 10%. Error 10% means plus 10% on the right side, I get this line. Minus 10% on the left side, I get this line. Now, this zone is called uncertainty zone because any reading can have an error of 10%. That is the meaning of gauge error 10%. Similarly, here also, if this is your reading, this will be, the plus 10% error. This will be minus 10% error. So this is uncertainty zone. So if you have uncertainty zone on the right side, you have uncertainty zone on the left side. Is that clear?
Clear.
If you produce products in the uncertainty zone, you may falsely reject products or you may falsely accept products. For example, let us say I produce a product here. See here, specification zone is how much? 100.5 minus 99.5. Can somebody tell me how much will be the length of specification zone?
1.
1.
10% of 1 is how much? 0.1.
0.1.
That 0.1 is here on the right side. Similarly, it will be here on the left side also. Imagine you are producing a product here. What could be a reading? Can you give me an example reading here? What could be the reading of this line?
100.4.
Very good, 100.4. Fantastic. Let us say 100.45. Now your measuring team can make an error of 10%. That is your understanding. So what is 10%? 0.1 plus or minus 0.1. So 100.45 when gets added up with 0.1, what will happen? That will be noted as
100.55.
100.55. But what is the true value?
100.44.
100.45. 100.45 means product is acceptable. But what your quality checkers are doing, they are considering that as 100.55 and rejecting the product. Your decisions are going wrong. If you allow the uncertainty zone to increase, more decisions will go wrong. Many good products might get rejected. You will be often, arguing with your clients. You will say, your customer will say it is rejected, but you will say it is accepted. So all these confusions and heated arguments will happen if you keep the uncertainty zone higher. That is why we say limited to less than 10%. If 10% itself can make some of your good products to get rejected, then what will happen when you have an uncertainty zone of 30%? It is only conditionally acceptable, right? So don't think that you can go for an error up to 30%. My suggestion is, if you run a process like this, see here, you produce output throughout the specification zone. Now, what percentage of your products are put under risk? 10% of products on the right side, this zone, am I right? And another 10% of products you produce under this zone. So totally 20% of your products are put under risk, provided you produce evenly. 20% of your good products might get rejected in the inspection. My best advice to you is, don't produce like this, rather you produce like this. Make your process predictable. You see there is some kind of normality, and then you have ensured that average is on the target. You ensured that sigma is low. Sigma is low means upper control limit will be at the 3 sigma distance from the center on the right. Similarly, lower control limit on the left. But look at your control limits. Your control, do you see the control limits well inside the specification limit?
Yeah. Yes.
Even if your in quality checkers makes mistake here, 10%. Where will they place the product? They'll place it here. Still the product is acceptable. Am I right?
Yes.
The risk of uncertainty is getting reduced. The risk of wrongly rejecting a good product, the risk of wrong accepting a bad product gets reduced if you bring the control limit well inside the specification limit. If you bring the control limit well inside the specification limit, your capability will go high and high. Business will not have any kind of heated arguments. The customer will be more happier with the way you are working. You will also be more happier with a lot of room for variation. Even if variation happens, still that will not affect your business. So that is how the sigma and average are helping you. This is called measurement system validation. But all the calculation, you don't have to worry. You collect the data, feed it in Minitab. Minitab will take care of the calculation. I will tell you how Minitab will work probably after the tea break. I stop here. Any questions?
Sir, can you show previous